Hey guys, good morning, good morning. So there was this horrible video that was circulating of a babysitter that was actually torturing a toddler. She's probably a baby girl. She was probably 1 or 2 years old, and I found it very disturbing. Well, the child was not from Guyana. Um, but I still want to address this subject because I had a similar experience with my now 16-year-old son and a babysitter. And this topic comes as a warning to parents to look out. And, when you have a babysitter, when you're not around, even at the daycares, it's a topic for you to look out. Signs and things that can tell you that your child is being abused. Now, I hired an Indian female from Lusignam to look after he was about 2 years old. And one of the things, like, he was a very, he wasn't this hyperactive boys. Boy children are always jumping, playing, running. That was like my first son. But my second son, he was quite loving, and, he was the quiet kind. He still is the quiet kind. He's not the run and bounce up your head and climb a tree kind of boy. He's the on the phone all the time kind of boy. So the babysitter started telling me that, she would be playing with him and he would bite her and he would scrape her and stuff like that. And I found that like really, really strange because he was not that kind of child. And you know what? The thing is that I did not even pick up on it. So one day, my then mother-in-law, she said to me, Shalisa, I noticed something strange about Sadiq. She said, when I would be like, talking to the other grandkids, he gets really scared and he runs and he hides. And she was wanting to know if I beat him. I was like, no, I don't. I said, I don't hit him. I don't beat my kids, right? That's a general principle that I got. Yeah, they mean one to time I put two lashes on them. But generally, I don't beat my kids. So when she asked me, when she was finding out, what is the problem? Why is this child so scared? It kind of started beating me. But anyway, she's the one that said to me, she needs to be careful. Something does not seem right because he was not like this before. However, one day we came home for lunch. Me and my husband, we come home for lunch. And we were all eating in the sitting room, myself, my husband, the babysitter, the baby was there, and so on. My now 16-year-old, he was a baby then. And we heard a vehicle pull up outside, blow, and the babysitter answered her phone and she said, I'm coming. And she went outside. We didn't take it for nothing, right? She went outside. And then there was this argument that ensued between her and another female. And I still didn't take it for nothing. Then I probably thought some family something. And then I heard this woman say to her, I would tell these people what you do to the child. Well, then I become concerned. And I got up and I walked to the back door and I continued. She said, I tell you something, don't try to make me an ass. I found out what you just do to these people, child, and I would tell them. So I got out right away to the vehicle. Anyway, it was a lady of, high-end lady, right? Pulled up in her fancy vehicle and stuff like that. And I became very, very confused. So I approached her and I said, hi, and I introduced myself and so on. I said, something, I'm very concerned about what you just said. What does Asha do to my child? And then the lady said, you know what? Asha used to work with me before. And she said to me, Asha promised to come back to work for me. And she said after Asha did not show up, she said she drove up to where Asha lives looking for Asha. And she said that Asha normally would live in all week and she would go home on the weekends. So she started telling me after she went looking for Asha's family would have said to her, Asha's babysitting some little child somewhere and they should come here. And she said she ain't able with the work because the child bad. And she's got to take this child and ducky head in water. And when she ducky head in water, this when he's calm down and go and sleep. Yo, I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? She takes my son head and duck it in water for calm he down. And then he's become so scared, he just go and fucking sleep. I could not believe what the fuck I was hearing. And it's like Asha started crying and she said, no, that's not true. This lady is trying to get me to come and work back for her. So she said, but I don't understand, a grown-ass woman. Remember, we would have picked up this sign before that this child became quite timid and scared and everything. And then, I'm like putting two and two together. And I fired her. Immediately, I fired her. And my son had just started talking, right? And I went and I sat down and I talked to him and I said, baby, what does Auntie Asha do to you when you're crying? She's like, Mama, she take my head, duck bucket water. Yo, I tell you honest to God, Asha disappeared before I could have put my fucking hand on she. She meet me at Monopole Market. She meet me like 2 other times and trying to swear to me that she doesn't do that. You see, and let me tell you, I was so nice with Asha. Asha had one son. I allow her son to come, sleep over, treat her like family. We buy a short, we buy one for she, we buy things for ourselves, we buy for she, we take her out. Like, we treated her as family. And let me tell you something, that was one of the most hurtful experiences I ever had. So my advice to you today is that when you have a babysitter, try your best. Now, camera cheap now. Put up a camera in your house. Look for signs in your children. Talk to them. It's so sad to know that when they're babies, they can't communicate with you. But try and put cameras up in your house and see what them babysitter do with your children. Because, that instance of that, the video that was circulating lately, everybody say, oh, there's not going to. It does happen here. It does happen here. Babysitters are beating children and ill-treating your children. You would never know, especially them little boo-boo that can't talk and them little boo-boo that can't say nothing. And I'm telling you this story to be an eye-opener. You see, that morning when I got up 2 o'clock, we got a group, the Butterfly group. I think you all hear Critic talking about it that we're in. When I looked at that video, I was so fucking disturbed that I could not sleep back. The child was bleeding with whatever she was doing to him. She was taking the child's foot and bringing it behind the child's head. And that child was bleeding. I don't understand. Anyway, I saw my friend Brandon posted this morning that she was jailed for 40 years for child torture and abuse. 40 years she got jailed for. But I'm saying to you, don't, even if your child, I know a lot of people opt for daycare, be careful with your child. I'm not saying daycares are bad or whatever, but sometimes these teachers and caretakers, they come to work with their own mental illness. They come and take your job to look after your children with their own mental illness, with their own trouble. They got mom problem, they got this problem, they got that problem, and come to look after you fucking children with the fucking mad self. Well, let me tell you something. Thank God that I can't make no more children, and thank God my children are grown that they can talk, because I tell you, we'll miss them. One time ain't gonna miss them again. You understand? So I'm just telling you guys to be careful with your children. Please be careful with your children. Anyway, guys, do have a splendid day, and do looking forward to seeing you down at the other wife.